Guess who's going where? We'll wait until the draft is done and see who picks up what. Trust, what's your bet here? Because the world is their oyster for support picks. Nothing's really been banned out.
So you see a Lesh. Alright. You want burst damage, grab a Lion maybe? Is that still in the pool? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lion's decent. Gives you Hex to initiate so you can go on the Jug. Bane is like always a good stable support hero to have that gives you strong lanes.
Do you want a saving support really here at all? Oracle, Dazzle? You're lacking stuns again. Trust have no real direct lockdown. I think, yeah.
That's where Lion is just seems like
solid,
safe.
stable pick.
Yeah, I definitely like the Lion. I think it's really you've already can see like the big picture for Sig Trust though, regardless of what support they grab. But we'll see. Bane, I think Bane's good too because you got the Fiend script through the Jug Blade Fury later on, although perhaps less essential. They're thinking it through. Fine, it is. Okay, nothing special, but you don't expect your 5-position support to ever be something special and exciting necessarily. But so big question for Fnatic is, what are they doing as far as player lane? So Haya grabs the Slider. That was kind of the, I guess, had to be the offlaner in some ways since, unless they're doing. Actually, Fnatic was a team who did a bit of 4-position Slider going way back for a little while, but it's presumably offlane Slider. Jug's got to be a core. Lesh is, to me, more likely a core than support, but
yeah, it's unlikely without a setup stun. There's no no Shadow Demon or anything like that to set up for your splitter.
Support Lesh versus Riki sounds kind of rough. I think it'd rather be run a support Nyx versus the Riki, although it's not amazing at fighting early. It's at least got decent stats in it. Yeah, DJ's picked it up.
Okay. 3-4-3 on his Disruptor as well.
But yeah, this is a Nyx counter to Timbersaw, Dusa, and even Darkseer in some ways, being like a good hero to initiate on him. You can get the Carapace into Impale when he's Iron Shelled.
Early TP out by Jabs. One of the greatest things about this Riki pick, obviously, getting these very early Observer Wards down. But also the fact that you don't get scouted or spotted when you place them. Not going for the more usual warding place, which is, you know, up on these high ground areas here to look at towards the mid, but going deep into Radiant Jungle.
It's harder to use those because your opponents are almost always going to have sentries in that mid lane to deal with the Riki, which means that Observer Ward is not only going to de-ward, but it will scout Riki. Or it's going to scout Riki and then de-ward.
We can see on Juggernaut already, mid one has 2 sentries up on him and the poor man's shield, so you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They are prepped and ready for that Riki, so the Dire Observer Ward actually goes down towards the off lane. So I wonder what the reason for that is. TPing mid and then running through here. Is that a scouting movement?
Yeah, TP mid just to see if your opponent's TP mid as well. Since you're a high ground mid ward, for example, is something that can cause you the most problems. It's like quite common that your opponent might TP mid and then
smoke TP.
Yeah, smoke TP and then put the high ground ward. Or alternatively, you go for like the loop around and then you can plant like a ward like somewhere here from fog. So there's like a few different places you can go.
Ohio Slardar, plenty of regen with his tangos there, while 3-4-3 Disruptor mid one is playing that Juggernaut. DJ's Nyx, waiting to see exactly what kind of input he does have into this game.
He saved up a chunk of money here. Not sure what the plan is with that.
Iron Talon.
Yeah, I was about to say, is this early Iron Talon? Additional sentries and dust is always a possibility, but like I feel like you don't want to overinvest in detection early on because that's when you get to a scenario where you have 2 super underfarmed supports. He's going to bring out the Salve, but yeah, he's sitting on 300 gold here.
Early sentry placed by 3-4-3, looking for this Riki plus Darkseer dual lane, which it will actually be. So they've got the vision game already down pat. Doesn't spot out the Obs Ward though, as Mushi plays aggressively into the DS. They've got the damage down onto Abba. See that Thunder Strike, but he just sits in the wave and makes sure that these Iron Shells will do the work for him pretty much, as the sentries are placed in the trees, the double sentries actually, 1 Radiant, 1 Dire.
Yep, Tango's it. I think it was pinging it for the Darkseer like, hey, you Tango it, you're not full HP, but now they've taken out that sentry, it's going to get a bit rough here for Mushi, who's a very squishy safe lane hero. He's taking damage from the Iron Shell already. How are they going for this?
A couple of hits in from an Orb of Venom could definitely slow him down.
He's tanking the Iron Shell. Like,
Mushi's not moving here. This is some scary stuff. He's actually running forward into the double Iron Shell and first blooded down.
That's...
We're seeing some questionable stuff here from Southeast Asian Dota, honestly. That's...
Yeah, the 4K MMR players are my players know to run away in those scenarios, I gotta say. Nothing against Mushi, or maybe something against Mushi, but world-class player, but...
That's a sub-flame.
That was not his finest moment.
No,
he deserves to be flamed for that play, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, DJ, like, you can look at it, right? DJ 343 is kind of moving in from the sides, and maybe he thought he could...
Oh, he lost his sentry!
Oh, man.
Jab's got
the sentry just being spammed.
He lost both!
Oh,
he lost both
sentries! Back to the dogs here.
So they just lost 2 sentries in a row. So they planted a sentry, saw the Riki, but Riki got the Tango out on the sentry first, and they planted the second one. And lost both sentries in a row. That's a 200 gold investment. They don't get a kill. They lose both sentries to the double. The one Tango from Riki. The second Tango was from Arba. Arba actually saves Jabs' life there with his Tango. And what a huge outplay. Sig Trust are just wrecking this early game.
That's a couple of steps ahead. And then you look towards the mid lane, right? MyPro 14-0. No denies, which is kind of what you expect. But he's got his Quelling Blade out to him and the bottle being buried as well. As mid one on this Juggernaut. He's doing decently here. Not going to be the easiest of lanes for him. Up at top, Ohio trying to bully back onto Boombell, but this is a lane that Lakels can farm relatively freely in.
Well, another 2 sentries come out for Fnatic in the safe lane. That's like goodbye boots for DJ and 343. This is the scenario I was talking about you don't want to be in, where you just kind of like they use both sentries right away because they want to deal with the Observer as well as the sentry. And I don't know, that's 600 gold already spent on sentries. And Riki knows he just got D-Sentry. If he wants, he can leave this lane. He can go help mid out because he's got boots and all but Venom. Or he can just play around knowing the exact positioning of these sentries. And
these two Fnatic supports seem like headless chickens, and they missed the stun actually onto the Riki DJ.
He's baiting spells there. Like, he knew they had the D-Sentry, and he's just like, I'm going to run in and then blink out. You're ready to surge me, but
they're not really accomplishing too much. Like, Nyx and Disruptor are standing here doing absolutely nothing whatsoever. They've stacked once, but they can't pull because they're scared that they're going to get dived by the double iron shell.
And this Nyx is not a hero you want to be just sitting here not getting much XP or farm. This is a 4 position hero that needs to get levels. And a level 2 Nyx forming its in is a big worry for Fnatic.
Ohio at least is doing decent on top lane. You know, he's 12 last hits in, poor man's shield, Quelling Blade. He's doing okay, and he's not had to dip back into the jungle, and he's not forced into that kind of defensive posture by the Medusa and the Lion.
Yep. So, let's see what the next couple moves are going to be. Jabs is headed back down bottom again. At some point, Arba may just want to go jungle, and that's the nice thing about if you're going to get more farm out of the jungle. Although he's actually he's just going to Iron Shell up and farm this with Jabs, but you get more farm out of the jungle, and that also opens up the Riki to go help the other lanes and just ditch the bottom lane for a little bit.
These are 2 level 3 heroes, incredibly important for Trust to get this ball rolling. MyPro towards the mid, the healing ward is being microed nicely by mid one. This is still not the spot you want to be in, losing out on last hits now at this point. Having to last hit under your tower without a Quelling Blade, sure you're a Juggernaut with a PMS, but still a pretty scary spot to be at. There's the Quelling Blade coming out from him, realizing that MyPro is just going to be shoving this wave under his tower non-stop. Ohio up at top, Jabs has made the rotation, scouts him out. And Ohio, he's meeting up with the Lion, Boombell with the 1-1-1 build. Ohio's overstepped his bounds a touch, but he does realize that he retreats. So I guess with the PMS.
Stick PMS is too much to burst through. He was like half HP or maybe 2/3 HP when Jab started rotating, but then he salved up, so once he's salved up, it's no longer really a feasible kill. On top of that, he's now got raindrops, so good luck killing Slaughter with your trial lane. Medusa not known for her killing potential.
And I guess Juggernaut is not the easiest target for either of these supports to go and rotate into. Unless you smoke up and you get that Hex down, allowing MyPro to deal the damage out. And this is a level 6 Timber Store at this point. You could even consider thinking about going in onto mid one now. The look was there from Jabs, but the sentry still out from Juggernaut will scout that one out.
Looks like Fnatic are shoving the bottom lane to try and push with Edict.
That level 2 Edict, yeah it is, and Moshi positioned himself there while the wrap coming in from DJ and 343. They're looking for this Darks here, but he's level 4 with Soul Ring, level 2 Iron Shell. He's even gone for the 1 point in Vacuum, not the 2 in Surge. It's a good way to kind of disrupt the spells coming out of Fnatic.
Yeah, I think perhaps there was a kill opportunity early, that's why he may have leveled it up with the Riki, but he's got a lot of heroes coming his way. The flank doesn't catch him out, and Arba with the protection of his tower, and Iron Shell on creeps is pretty hard to dive here. There's always that threat of a TP. A hasted Timbersaw is level 6, about to level 7. So any dive on bottom tier 1 tower I think will be heavily punished by Sig Trust.
It will be met with force. Oh, mid one.
That's a scary side. You see this if you're Fnatic. The call from Jug has to have been like, hey guys, don't overextend. Don't go under towers, because this Timbersaw will TP and will kill you.
Ohio does not have boots up at top, and with the stun into smoke screen, doing a good chunk of damage to him. He turns to try and get the crush, but great placement there. The blink back in, the crush comes out. The PMS and stick charges keep him alive a little bit longer, as Lakels can't get back in with the hits.
Last right click with the phase boots, I thought he'd get it, but Lakels, he had to reposition to dodge the crush, and I barely survives.
Raindrop's good item.
Pretty down to 2 though.
Yeah, I mean,
they disappeared fast.
It kept him alive, and now he can halfway towards his boots.
It actually blocks blink strike damage, I believe. Yeah, it does. Yeah, 60 damage and 50. Yeah, so blocks the blink strike damage. That's
good
stuff.
Cool. In the meantime, Mushi is kind of farming down the bottom lane. It's not the best of times for him, but he's got his arcane boots up, and if he's left alone, he definitely can go and maraud that tier 1 tower at bottom on his own. And this buys a little bit of space for 343. All of that expenditure back into the sentries. Now he's going to make it up a little bit. Get into the brown boots now with 400 gold. It's a slow ride for him. Well, mid one really wants that bottom rune, but he will be scouted by Jabs here. Yeah. Safety net of 343 standing around.
Can he poach it?
Oh, we tried.
Didn't.
The Ricky might just be around just spamming on that rune spot. Something mid one has to do. Now, no sentries down in bottom lane, are there? So Ricky has the free run in, and Mushi 660 health. If they get a double Iron Shell and a Surge or a Vacuum forward, they'll get that start up onto him, and the smoke screen is down. There's nothing to stop this or save it. The Vacuum doesn't catch it. They've still got the damage output there as Trust clear up the left track.
DJ's in no man's land.
Whoa.
Top.
Went for the courier snipe, I guess, but there's nothing to cancel a TP. Good attempt by Boombell.
Boombell was kind of with the Timbersaw and like took a different direction, tried to cut him off, but then as a result wasn't there to cancel the TP.
What the? Wait, what?
Mid one just dead?
I'm not sure what I just witnessed. Mid one just Omni slashed onto a Timber, and Timber took no damage. Oh, he is dead.
How many stacks did he have up for reactive armor?
No, but I mean, like, the Omni Slash dissipated immediately. Huh. So, like, Omni Slash did nothing. So I don't know if Timber Chain dodged it, if he does drop to Mushi.
I'm not sure. I didn't catch it.
I don't know, it's just like, I blinked and I missed it. Oh, it's a weird little thing. Oh, Mushi does rotate in, catches out one. There's at least some blood there on the plate of Fnatic and bringing themselves back in. Look at that, 343. Has he forgone boots? No, he's still got his boots and buys out as many wards and sentries as he possibly can.
This is just where both Ray and supports you see 900 net worth, 1300. Meanwhile, Ricky sitting on 1800.
So he's got a ton of money.
And he's not even CSing, he's got 5 CS, but just not having to buy wards.
Not dying.
Not dying, yeah. That's all. That's the difference. Not dying and not having to buy sentries. Nyx hasn't died, but he's not got much. He's got more CS, but has less in the way of net worth.
Radiant's top tower.
Ohio, Iron Talent. And try and go in onto Lakels. 343 has the level 3 glimpse, but the Stone Gaze is good. With that Split Earth landing, they don't have the damage output to burst down this Medusa, and she just walks it off, slithers away. And that's a 2-man smoke rotation up towards the top lane that doesn't really accomplish too much. It doesn't stop Lakels from farming, because she's got that Ring of Health up. Now with the Perseverance done, this is an incredibly farmed Medusa for this period of the game, and looking for this tier 1 up at top lane.
Ricky's Iron Shelled, he's very scary, and you look at Mushi, like, Arcane Boots, he's got sub 900 HP. He will melt if he ever gets caught by any kind of lockdown like an Impale.
And now it's 10 minutes in. Boombell's sitting level 5.5. That's honestly the perfect time for that Tome of Knowledge to come up. He'll hit that level 6, but they start off with a Hex. Ohio smoke screen is here from Jabs, but they don't even need to expend it as the stuns come through, chained by Boombell. TP back to base to regen, and he'll have his Finger of Death ready for the next fight as well.
Alright, there we go. Tombs up, level 6.5. This is your time to smoke, but top lane, in fact, not going to amount to much. This is a really, for me, Sig Trust have all the heroes and plays to make right now. Like, they can smoke up with the Lion, like Lion +1, get a finger kill. The Ricky can go around with the Iron Shell. The Timbersaw doesn't even have to leave his lane. He's just wreaking havoc.
What's Timbersaw buying into? Is that straight Yule Scepter?
Good against
Omni
Omni
Slash.
Slash. You can dodge it, of course. Get rid of amp damage.
Mid one goes in for the spin. He does have his Omni ready as well. Jabs though ready. Has the blink. But 343 will be the target of choice with the Finger of Death and the nuke damage from MyPro.
Okay.
And has made it look so easy.
There's a smoke from line, just a disruptor pick, but still it's something. It's just more than anything momentum for Sig Trust. Getting another kill, putting Fnatic under pressure.
And Ohio is switched down towards its safe lane. Jabs, this Ricky pick has really paid off dividends for Trust so far. Massive importance for him to keep this one going though. Get his levels up as well as DJ has hit 6. This first Vendetta, you know, it could pay off. They've got the 2 ultimates ready from both Jug and Nyx. But just look where Jabs is standing. He'll spot the TP, realizing that Nyx is actually moving himself towards a different lane. Might be towards the top.
And they got the sentry prepped. Oh
Bluebell
yeah,
has one
got
ready.
the obs.
Stone Gaze going to slow this one down, looking for that tier 1, but also looking for the damage onto Mushi as well. Dropping low, but the TP's come through from Fnatic. Make sure that Trust will not be able to get the tower or any kind of constellation kills, but Lion had that sentry, and you got to think, why not place it?
There was one much further up the lane, but that was not close enough to scout it out. Wow, they walked Jabs into the
Jabs, but there's the chakra back onto them. That spike character is good, but Ohio holds the line and keeps MyPro away as there's limited mana left for him, and the glimpse makes damn sure there's no Timber Chain forward.
Okay, that Radiant Observer Sentry next to the tower. Doing work here. The dance around the tier 1. Mikkel's mistimes going back into the lane.
Oh, but Omni Slash perfect from mid 1, gets the final swipe in as well as the Darkseer dived into the tier 1 mid.
Alright, string of really nice events for Fnatic. Like they're having the wards up top and getting the initial kill with Nyx, then they pick off mid, get a tower tonight, so some signs of life, but Jug needs to be careful in this mid lane. Boombell looking for a Hex, but his one's already backed off here.
He's closing in on 2,000 gold on mid 1. We've seen a lot of different builds from Juggernauts. Obviously the Poor Man Shield indicates that, you know, it's not going to be the Vanguard build, but what do you feel here? Diffusal played against Darkseer, or do you just go like standard Battle Fury?
Ooh, here across top. Ohio! That Observer Ward again, he scouts the smoke and then immediately has vision despite the tree line of sight.
The damage from MyPro is just so much. The skirt around from Ohio not going to be good, but the Split Earth is. Mushi catches the 2, but the Timber Chain away like Hill's trying to run through this one, but he's run out of mana. Actually can't. Stone Gate stick charges up, but again, he's burnt through with that mana shield, causing a few little problems for him with the glimpse back into stun. Good chaining there from Fnatic. Abba trying to hold this one out, but the kills have dropped incredibly low. Another couple of stick charges there will keep on live again. And Trust, they evacuate and retreat. Scary days for them as now Jabs is scouted by another sentry down from Fnatic.
So mid 1 looks to get, like you mentioned, Diffusal always good against the Dusa, but I don't know if that's like a first item kind of pickup. 2.5k gold.
Yeah, like Yasha Diffusal, Manta style.
Manta Diffusal seems like a strong build this game, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Can they still see Jabs? Jabs with a dust, but he blinks back mid 1 to get himself in here. 20 seconds until Omni Slash, so he doesn't have that ultimate available just now, and that's a lot of expenditure for no kills at all. Just the Static Storm in its own right is such a great zoning tool, if not teamfight like ability for Fnatic to use.
yeah, Fnatic playing solid here in the kind of mid-game stages, finding kills and pressuring, taking a tier 1 mid tower. It's looking a lot better than it was a few minutes ago. MyPro hasn't got too out of control in his Timbersaw just yet, but once Abba gets the mech on Darkseer, I think Sig Trust teamfight gets a whole lot scarier.
Oh, they know DJ's here. That sentry is perfect, but
Dire's
the
top
Hex
tower
not
is
available
under
from
attack.
Boombell, doesn't have the gap closed. And DJ luckily escapes with his life and keeps that money in the bank. Saving up for that Blink Dagger, it looks like. Trust are all converging into this area, and DJ getting so much intel and vision. He goes for the Boombell kill, but it's not going to be enough, and now he's going to try and carapace his way out of this one, but unfortunately for him, the 5-man...
Conveniently 5 minutes there.
The 5-man dire jungle waiting for the Nyx strat. Yep, Trust pulling out.
Why not? Right back to farming. Lakel's ulti ult, so Lincoln's not far off.
7.1k now worth, incredibly farmed right now. How's it looking overall? Trust, they had about a 4k lead, but like you said, this kind of mid-game play, Fnatic finding these little pick-offs, sneaky little movements forward has garnered them a little bit of a comeback there, about a 2-3k swing for them. in terms of net worth. And these are the items for the Juggernaut. These are the items for the Lashrak, I think, more importantly. Finishes off Aquila and Drums, just padding out his stats and trying to tank up as much as he possibly can.
The Aquila is a bit of an odd one, but...
I guess he went Bassi for lane and then was like, you know what, I'm going to buy the Wraith Band as well.
I didn't see the Bassi in lane. I don't remember. Oh, no, yeah, he had the Ring of Protection starting at him. Yeah. I didn't see the Bassi, but definitely had the ring, so... Yeah, I guess it's just more casual stats. And picks up a point booster. The Drums, again, is... Nowadays, is like an item that's fallen off a lot, but if you're picking it up, it's more for the stats than anything.
So is that going to be a Bloodstone for Mushi then?
It should be. Nags is not really a build these days. But yeah, Bloodstone seems fine. Octarine can come later, but yeah, for now, just first item Bloodstone and then go from there.
Ohio is very close to this Blink Dagger.
Also very close to getting caught out.
He feels it coming though.
Nice.
Skips his way back into the trees.
Good TP out.
In the meantime, the rest of his team, DJ343, aggressive smoke in to get this ward placed up on the high ground. I know they want to try and take tier 2 tower up at top at some point, so they need that vision. As well as DJ playing the forward game smoked. Maybe even look for that Vendetta for any TPs coming back to defend this one. It's the 4-man movement up to top. Mid one having the level 2 Vendetta, level 2 Omni Slash on top of all of this.
Very poor line. This is where you feel like most teams who pick and play the line would have dedicated a bit more farm, but Dusa not a hero that can rotate in the jungle and give space for line to farm a blink.
He's given a fair amount to this Ricky, who has a Blade of Alacrity, but over to the side it's Mypro. Yules into the air, the Stone Gaze will fly out, but Static Storm with a field that Trust cannot chase this one down, and 343 TPs right in front of their faces. They get the TP, they...
Tower denied, but still, it's a tower. And for Sig Trust, they have to 5-man TP back, so it's very much Fnatic kind of controlling the tempo of this game for now, dictating kind of what Sig Trust do. They like Sig Trust see him top, like okay, let's TP back defend, but Fnatic get the tower, get out without losses.
They are really struggling to actually shut down Midland's Juggernaut as well. They don't have this kind of catch and kill. Like you said, the poor line means there's no Blink Dagger, there's no form of true initiation apart from Timber Sword just going ham and running into the middle of things.
And looking at the Sig Trust draft, I feel Lion Blink Dagger is a very key item for them as far as timings go. It changes the dynamic of the game a lot when you have that catch. Mid one can't aggressively split push lanes, but without a Blink you kind of can, unless Lion finds like a way to get a Hex off from like fog in the trees or something. Chances are you can get away from most ganks.
They see 343 as well as Mushi running around, and the smoke screen of the 343 is disrupted dead straight off the bat. Mushi still under vision here. This observer board doesn't realize exactly what he's running into, but mid one hexed up. The damage output, where is it? Spins himself back through into the middle of two of them with the light storm down. A crush back, Blink from Ohio, but he's shredded. Mypro turns it back, but again, a good stun from DJ. Catches the two, burns through. The Lincoln Sphere pop of Lakel's face put himself in a ton of trouble here as the stun from Mushi, it only delays the inevitable. And Trust keep pushing aggressively forward. Fnatic have no mana left. They've got to return to Fountain. And even then, can they return to fight?
Trust may just back things off now, having no finger, no Stone Gaze, but
there's farm to be had on side lanes.
And Sig Trust don't even execute that perfectly. They got the Hex on mid one, but the Impale missing afterwards. But even so, like Fnatic just, I think they got overextended because they're like, oh, our Chuck didn't get burst down in the Hex. Like, let's re-engage. We've got Omni Slash, and you just kind of play into Sig Trust's hands, getting that good Stone Gaze off that they could fight around.
Mypro though, level 13. In fact, how's he doing? So Juggernaut and Timber both level 13. Bloodstone really not that far away for the Timber after that. Yulsafter, which has kept him alive a couple of times already. Gives him that mobility and a chance to get away from that Slardar blinking and crushing. I've got to say that, equal to what we're talking about the line with that lack of Blink Dagger, the Blink here from Ohio kind of has to pay dividends for Fnatic, and blinking in, getting these initiations, and really enabling Mushi to do damage, because like we've said, he's squishy, he's not the greatest, frontline hero to get into the mix of things, so he does need Ohio to play that kind of recon role, get into the thick of things, and make sure that he's not the primary target.
Good news is DJ on Nyx has a blink as well. He kind of just farmed this out of nowhere. Oh, solo kill from Jug up top. That's the poor Lion who I think mid one's just like, this guy's alone. He's trying to farm his blink. I know what's going on here because this Lion's super poor. And it's a kill that he has to support, but it means something in the context that Sig Trust want this blink quite badly. Like they'd rather dedicate farm to Lion than like a Darkseer blink. The Lion blink is their catch.
Darkseer, plenty of money saved up, but they've made this really ballsy move forward into the Radiant jungle. Fnatic don't want anything of it as they do back themselves up. They've got Vision watching over towards the river, and again a sentry placed looking for this Riki. These obs wards from Trust, very deep.
Yep.
Near these tier 2s.
You see a lot, and even when you're not seeing heroes, you're kind of getting the intel that, okay, they're not farming in their jungle, it means they're making an aggressive move, or they're coming into our jungle. So, by their nature, SIG Trust have a very good idea what's going on, and just giving them the room they need to get a bit more farm going.
Double damage rune there.
Mikkel's going for everyone's favorite Lincoln's Manta build. I'm totally okay with this build. I think this build gets way too much flack for what it does. I mean, it doesn't do. That's the thing. It doesn't do anything, but it's stable. It's like all good stats you need. Why not? It doesn't lose you games. It doesn't necessarily win you games, but the Deucer will always get to do Deucer things when you have this build.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like Yasha Skadi when you have the ability to go for that build.
Yep.
But having the Lincoln Sphere just allows you to really stably farm with the regen it gives you. Mushi should be able to complete this TP. Boom belt. Ooh, that was close. Not as easy as I thought it would be.
The Lincoln's block will help a good amount this game against the Glimpse catch. And like you mentioned, having regen on Deuces I think is a very underrated aspect of the Lincolns. It's just being able to get the perseverance in lane, because normally you think most carries you won't want to commit to a perseverance because it doesn't give you survivability. But because Deucer has mana shield, survivability comes from mana as well as HP.
They really hate this Riki. Really hate that Riki. Ohio missed the blink stun, but they still get the static storm down onto him. So run forward from Fnatic as well. They've got no creep waves bottom, but they do have one mid on the tier 2, and you're right, mid 1 are just wheeling into this tower with got a ton of gold saved up, still considering what he goes for next.
Diffusal, he has the money for it if he wanted it, so not really sure what the big like 4k gold item would be that he might want to consider.
And at this point, we were looking 6-7 minutes ago, Signature Trust kind of had the tempo of the game all set, but Fnatic, they're the ones pushing across the river, getting these aggressive wards down now. And it's really the remnants of the laning stage that Trust are holding onto at this point.
Jug want to buy.
Usually Timbersaw is that hero that runs around killing people, owning lanes, and finding these pickoffs and catches with a burst and nuke damage he's got, especially pre-BKB. But once Mushi, well, now he's got Bloodstone, you can only think he's going to go BKB as maybe his next item.
Yeah, BKB.
Given that tankiness.
Very good this game with Lion Darkseer in play as well.
So it's a key point for Trust to actually go and fight now. But then you're fighting into a Juggernaut who spent the last 10 minutes farming his balls off. He's got so much money.
I guess you're like, oh, Jug's farming, well, we got Deucer farming. But Nyx, you've got Mana Burn later on in this game, which is at least somewhat of an answer for the Deucer.
Damage.
So, not bad, but both teams, I think both lineups can scale well. Like, I've seen Timbersaw's late game just be complete beast. Talking about Darkseer late game, Medusa late game. On the Radiant side, you've got some answers in the form of the Mana Burn. Lesh, I guess the farm he's got can scale well.
Yeah, I guess we look at the 4-roll Riki as well. Diffusal Blade really isn't that far away. 2 Blades of Alacrity up, his damage output's good. Still sitting on 840 health, not the tankiest of little guys, but...
So mid one does go Battle Fury. I was kind of thinking like with the pace this game's going and saving up this much money, it might be a Battle Fury. Kind of just that, let's make sure I can maintain my farm. Let's keep up and out-farm a Medusa pickup.
No reason to play the risky game and go all in on anything. Make sure you secure yourself the next 15-20 minutes or so and just keep building things up slowly but steadily.
I mean, they're playing the economical game right now. They're getting more farm on the map. They've got complete control of this dire jungle, and they get something like a Blink Dagger on the Jug that's going to give them like a good initiation item as well as like another farming tool that really allows you to farm very deep on the map. Split push lane, so I'd like to see like mid one go for that next, but Fnatic smoked up near mid.
Mushi has Boots of Travel after the Bloodstone, so did not go straight into the BKB, but of course, you're very slot limited at this point in the game, and could be looking for the TP towards mid as the smoke wraps in onto Lakel's. The Blink Crush is there, and the pop of the Lincolns as Static Storm's dropped down to the Medusa. She's tanky and is actually surviving through a lot of this damage. They need to expend more onto her, but the Stone Gauge will ensure that mid one can't get the Omni Slash down onto her. Ohio
Sig
considering the
Trust
go in
need
back again. The blink rush down onto 2. Mypro and Alpha both caught.
They have glimpse. They can catch and punish. They can get Disruptor close enough.
3-4-3 will not get it. There or he will. Just on the jabs as that sentry ward on the high ground gives them the vision they need as well as the observer ward placed in a.
That was such. I'm like,
spot.
how did he get that glimpse? Now I see this observer. That's actually a next level observer ward spot because Sig Trust are going to think it's on the cliff, which is like the common ward spot, but that's a new ward spot for me at least.
Well, the things are coming out from Ricky saying that they see me here, they see me here. What's going on? How can they see me cross over on this area? Now we see the strength of this Fnatic lineup. Like you said, they've just been taking control of swathes of maps, you know, vast tracts of land just going across from dire side jungle through to mid down towards bottom lane. Now they're into the Roche pit and Trust. Sure, you've got Vacuum Wall, you've got this Timbersaw who can get in there, but it's the fact of the matter, mid one has already taken down Roshan with this amplified damage up on him. It's going to be too late to steal Aegis or stop the Roshan from dying, but do you fight into it, even though it's already gone?
Seems perhaps ill-advised. But I think Sig Trust more than anything want to try and regain some of that map control, get some wards down, not just let Fnatic continue to out-farm them, because it is going to swing for the first time this game into a Fnatic favor as far as overall net worth goes. Not necessarily meaningful in itself, that, like, I mean, 1,000 gold, but it's more the swing of momentum and the fact that Fnatic will continue to get more farm out of the map with the vision they get from the gen, the fact they've got an Aegis, and just the fact that Sig Trust kind of have to play more grouped up. They want to stick behind the Medusa, they want to be kind of grouped as 5 using the Darkseer and the Timbersaw's teamfight potential, but they're not getting much in the way of teamfights, and they can't really particularly teamfight into an Aegis now as well.
Fortunate for Trust, their obs ward was preemptively sentried and immediately taken out by Ohio. He's got, never mind, he's got a gem as well. Ricky's going to have a pretty rough time for the next couple of minutes. They do actually find the observer ward that was over towards that little ramp top, so not tricked too heavily there. I just want to point out what Mushi's been doing though. He's cutting through a lot of these trees all along this bottom lane, creating nice little juke spots for himself, like down towards bottom tier 2. He's just cut through towards the tier 2 over to the right side, where he's pushing now. Little safety movements, you know, making sure he can weave in and out of these trees and not get spotted out by anyone, but also, you know, slightly taking away Timbersaw's actual mobility plans with the trees.
Interesting move, she backs off the bottom tier 2, thinking that it was about to get ganked, could have just edicted down, but then he realizes, okay, they're not coming, they're top, let's get the tier 2. And for Fnatic with an Aegis, this is kind of where you see all these heroes top, you can at least, if you want to, you can force them back to base by poking at the tier 3. Just going to be careful about how fights will go down.
They've got both lanes pushing in though, mid and bottom. So Trust do have to be very wary of what they're doing on top lane. Farm is good, but you cannot give away too much damage onto these tier 3s at this stage in the game to Fnatic, who have already taken such great control. And Fnatic, you know, they say, right, we've forced 5 heroes who are up at top lane, not really accomplishing much, back to their base, where they will not accomplish much again, and will retreat back to farming Ancients, farming stacks, farming on this dire side of the map again.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect efficiency really from Fnatic at this point, as Boombell has Blink Dagger and a TP scroll, but is very, very far behind enemy lines at this point. There are in fact like 5 heroes in front of him.
Fnatic have some items coming up, so I don't think they're going to rush things as far as trying to push high ground. The Jug Diffusal's coming out of the Courier. Slider's got a 4-staff in 300, Lesh has a BKB in a couple hundred, so if they want to, they will hit this timing where they've got those key items just mentioned and still perhaps about a minute left on Aegis, so that's an opportunity to go for that base break, but they're gonna not waste any time. Mid one's like, I just got my Diffusal. We can at least siege. Jug, one of the better high ground sieging heroes because of the Blade Fury magic immunity and the healing ward sustain.
They've seen Trust, the 2 observer wards down to the bottom right side of the map near Roshan. They've seen the 3 heroes of Trust are very late to the party, so it's cheap damage onto the tier 3.
Yeah, I think mid one's not really maximizing like his damage up on this tower. I think you look at like what OG did during the major with like No Tail playing the Jug. It's like every time he has Blade Fury up, he's hitting the tower as soon as there's any threat of maybe getting, when he's got Aegis, more like without Aegis less so, but you Blade Fury, you hit that tower, then you back off.
And Brian Hex has stunned the mid one. This is still Aegis that'll be popped.
He's just not using his, he needs to use his Blade Fury more preemptively. when he wants to hit the tower, and I think they could have actually gotten that top tower even lower than it is, potentially taken it down completely, but...
Just going for the chip and play.
That Aegis loss was kind of 60 seconds away anyways, although that could have been 60 seconds if Fnatic found the fight that would have taken one.
Like you said, this enables Mushi to finish off his Black King bar. As well as a Slaughter with the Force Staff now. It's just going to be regroup and get yourselves across the map. These wards will start expiring in the next minute and a half, 2 minutes or so.
Farm is just continuing to swing the way of Fnatic. Something we talked about would happen given the state of map control, the gem pickup, just the lack of real farming capabilities of the SUBCRIBE lineup. They're not exactly speed farmers.
It doesn't feel like Trust are feeling under too much pressure though. They're kind of freely moving around the map. They're not getting caught out or picked off or anything like that. Quite content in how Medusa's farming. It's
a Lakel's Deucer game. Like you're like, okay, we can just go late game. Sure, if they're going to play slow pace, we'll play slow pace. Even if we're getting slightly out farmed, SUBCRIBE very reminiscent of like the old LGD where they're just like high ground defenders. Go for the late game, defend your high ground, have this big team fight offlaner, which is the Darkseer, and then this big super late game carry, the Lakel's Deucer, and just play for the late game. This is classic 4 Protect 1 in a lot of ways.
I guess it's also the reason why MyPro hasn't gone for these kind of risky or flashy plays, looking for the solo pickoffs. He's just been, farming, making sure he keeps on par at least with like the Leshrac and them. He's a little bit behind, the pack, but it's still looking decent for him. But he's not gone in, balls deep for the big dives and looking for the kills.
Yeah, it doesn't have much in the Lion, I guess, could smoke with him and have the finger back up, but you don't want to lose those Bloodstone charges. You want to make sure this item remains relevant going into the late game, which involves not dying multiple times.
With Lakel's picking up the Demon Edge and spending even more money. Yep, it's the full Monkey King bar done for the Medusa. That's some good damage output, which is obviously something Medusa can definitely lack. She's tanky, she's good at doing like spread damage, chipping over time, but now having that additional raw damage output back onto these heroes is going to be pretty huge for her.
Yeah. Good. This is the pickup where it's like, okay, I have my defensive item, but now I actually deal damage, so SUBCRIBE immediately smoke up having got this item, but they're going to have a top lane to worry about. This smoke may just be cut short by Manta Illusions, and yeah, Timbersaw will TP up and have to pop out.
DJ has already drawn on the map saying they're all grouped up around in our Radiant jungle, guys. They're trying to gank someone down there, expecting the defense of the tier 2 at bottom. So Fnatic, they are prepped and ready. They
know the smoke happened too, because they saw the Timbersaw defending. The Timbersaw is just like clearing creep waves.
Oh, mid one, great spin already out there, and he gets himself back through the trees as Lakel Stonegaze doesn't actually accomplish anything. They try and jump forward in a vacuum. Won't connect, but the Yule Scepter will, and 343 he'll be the sacrificial lamb here as the rest of his team escapes.
Oh, DJ top, can't beat what out.
Got the dust down on him, but it does wear off, and DJ has stick, he's got blink, and he's got a TP, but the sentry perfect from Boombell, and the ulti comes out, DJ's caught, and Ricky will secure that.
Most influential kills for SUBCRIBE, but it's still something. They have been losing ground steadily over the last 10-15 minutes, so.
This is the sign of like a great team of Fnatic, right? It's not, right, we're losing 2 supports, we back off and we go and farm jungle, or we go back to like the fountain and try and regen. They're straight into middle lane, straight into bottom lane, making sure they eke out any advantage in terms of sort of map protection and pushing power there. Abba and Jabs kind of walking around Ohio in mid one here. They don't realize the Invid Slardar is kind of slithering himself through. Still holding onto that gem as well. A BKB out from MyPro. Super scared about that Nyx Assassin Carapace and Mana Burn, I guess.
Anti-glimpse tool as well.
Oh yeah.
The glimpse catch is one of Fnatic's biggest tools to close up this game, is to find those key pickoffs. Since they can't totally rely on Nyx for pickoffs going late game, because that's where gem sentry is always going to come into play, and there we go. As I said, the gem is picked up by the Darkseer, so they'll have a way to prevent Nyx just roaming around, leading kills and scouting. But that's where you want to make sure you're not letting 343 and Disruptor get catches.
Of course, like we said, these kind of final best of ones in the group stage are important for all of these teams, and you really don't want to throw caution to the wind and go in for anything too crazy. Start the group stage, we saw Meepo picks and all this funky stuff to try and get that initial burst of best of 1 wins. But for Fnatic right now, well, what they're standing so 3 and 3.
2 losses.
3-2.
Yeah, they won against WG. They had a
you're
nice
right.
comeback, which put them on. So they've got 2 losses with Execration as well as WG. TNC, the only team currently with 1 loss, which means there's still a chance for that #1 spot. WG still play TNC, which if WG win, then suddenly everyone's on 2 losses, and we could see tiebreakers. Could see a number of outcomes. For TNC, the plan is win out, and then TNC, all they have to do is win the rest of their games, and they're at TI.
And for Trust, of course, winning, trying to get into the playoffs, significantly important this Fnatic game will be, as they are encroaching into enemy territory, but it's Boombox spotted out, taken into the crush, but MyPro jumps forward and the nuke damage obliterates through 2, but Ohio's kept himself alive. With the also problem to him, he'll get himself into danger again, but mid-1's Omni Slash did a lot of structural damage to the rest of this Signature Trust team. Lakels and Abba, they are on the back lines, retreating themselves out, so a 2-for-2 support. Well, support an off-laner, but look at that glimpse back. MyPro can still Timber Chain himself a little bit further away towards the east. Timber Chain and now Chakram, but the damage output from mid-1 is enough to secure that. So in the end, Fnatic are the favoured outcome there.
2 for 3. Timber saw the big casualty. Didn't get the Bloodstone deny as well, so that's a kill secured, but Medusa comes out alive. Still not a single death on the Lakel's Medusa. So, this is just such a classic Lakel's game and performance. Like,
Hey, Juggernaut's still outstripping her in terms of farm though in GPM.
Oh, and that's the thing, like you look at like who's been like the bigger player and playmaker. I mean, you say mid-1's done way more, but Medusa by nature is not going to be flashy, but I still feel like Lakel's is very consistent, but he doesn't have any of those amazing games where he just puts out ridiculous numbers on a hero. At least not anymore. He has in the past, but it's become more like that kind of just stable, kind of Loader style carry.
I mean, Mushi's been incredibly quiet this game, right? But
Yeah,
he's been quietly farming into 17 Bloodstone charges, BKB, and a full Scythe of Vice.
Out farming Medusa now, so
Insane levels of gold income there for Mushi's Leshrac. And that Hex, that could be one of these fight-turning items. You can see down onto, your Timbersaw pre-BKB, and Medusa says, my Lincoln Sphere is not quite enough. I'm going to get a BKB of my own.
and even someone like a Darkseid, when you blink in to use your combo, may not expect it to come his way. So like the Fnatic have a lot of items to scale well going late game, but pushing high ground always going to be the big challenge, the big ask. Like, okay, when and how do you go high ground against Darkseid Dusa? Dusa BKB. Third defensive item, I kind of, I guess.
Against Mana Burn, I guess you kind of need it. That
Against
4-second cooldown.
Yeah, against this draft, you really do need a BKB, but whatever that last item is, it needs to be.
Rapier.
Yeah, that's it. It needs to be DPS, and Rapier really the one that comes to mind.
Fnatic high ground here, looking down into the river, the Valley of Doom. May become, as Mushi's also here with Ohio, and Roshan not going to be attempted by Trust. They feel the threat from upon high, as Fnatic have got this ward coverage down pat pretty much, is looking down into there, and both teams very timid and kind of paranoid about engaging into these fights, because do you think whoever jumps first wins, or is this more of a counter initiation kind of game?
I think there's more potential on the side of Sig Trust to counter initiate, like by just the nature of Darkseid Dusa. So if they're getting initiated on, it's not the end of the world. But if Sig Trust get a good initiation with a Lion, which shouldn't happen, I mean, realistically, Lion leading a fight, getting a pick up on like a key hero like a Jug with a Hex Impale finger shouldn't happen. And I mean, I don't think the burst damage. Oh, with Timbersaw, it's possible. He offers it. If Timbersaw, I think, accepted, they can burst down someone like a Jug, but 2.5k HP is a lot to go through during the Hex Impale. And it's still just level 2 Hex even. He hasn't even maxed it out.
The smoke pops and they realize Ricky is likely around. Fnatic, they had kind of drawn the attention of Trust up towards top with a Mushi Leshrac pushing up there, and 3-4-3.
It's a good position for Ohio to be on that cliff, scouting everything out. Knows there's no ward up there as well.
He knows what's up and what's down and what's around, and he knows that MyPro has just chained himself over towards that creep wave. The rest of his team's nowhere to be seen though. Fnatic not really converging into that area. Ohio is kind of alone up here, and amp damage down and blinks himself away. The Yule Scepter will just dispel that one off.
It's pretty like kind of next level play to make, just sitting up there with when you know there's no ward because you've got Gem and you see them all coming, you can always blink away before they catch you out there. Even if they, the only way they find you is if they walk up there to ward. There's no hawk or anything. I doubt they're gonna. Maybe from now on they'll just casually throw chakrams up there since they've seen Ohio do it once. But you can always maybe
Dire's
anticipate
middle
that.
tower is under attack.
What do you think Mushi's next item is? Octarine?
Octarine probably.
That's
No,
a good way to go.
Octarine Shivers is like not bad. It negates, can help limit the Medusa's damage up in these fights.
Oh, the BKB from Mushi. Boombell didn't get that insta-hex down. There's a window there, definitely for them to go for it. A little bit slow on the trigger finger.
See if Sick Trust can get plenty. They've got a 60-second now timer on that BKB, but I think Mushi BKB being on cooldown doesn't mean you can just suddenly auto-win a fight by any means.
Or automatically walk into the Roche pit and take it for themselves,
Yeah,
but they're moving that way.
They kill Roche very slowly. Deuce's damage output, despite the MKB pickup, is still not looking all that potent.
No medallion, no Deso, not even a Blightstone or anything on their team. Really helped them in that Roche pit, and Fnatic going to try and meet force with force here as mid one. That Skadi and that Hex initiation, Boombell trying to start things
Great
off.
force start.
Mid one dragged out of that fight with Stonegate, turns it back onto Mushi, the vacuum in here as well. His BKB is down, and this magic damage is ripping him apart a little bit. He's kept himself alive long enough, but Mipro finally finds the kill back onto him. Mid one in the meantime, still holding on to Omni's back with the Static Storm dropping onto Raquel's. This could be the perfect time for Mid one just to rip through him, and there we go! Slices and dices, 2 down, the big cause, and they're jumping forward aggressively looking for more, but Alba has retreated himself further away, and Trust, they lose 4. And a huge fight there for Fnatic.
Just a story of a very fun juggernaut, that team fight for the most part. Mushi goes in pretty deep without a BKB and gets punished, but Charles just destroyed Deucer. Once Deucer got caught in the kinetic field, it was all over for him. The Manta Jug with Diffusal Blade, taking away the mana pool while doing a huge amount of damage on an amped up Deucer as well. So.
And Timbersaw was kind of like the collateral damage. He was stood nearby and he got blasted away by that ulti from Juggernaut. Now, with Roshan dropping, Aegis to go the way of mid one. And Vacuum actually puts Amber in a really dodgy
Mushi at top is
holy crap.
trying to get this tier 3.
Ah, you're right. It looks like he might just accomplish that. And with the BKB pops, he'll secure, and Amber gets himself away as Mushi stunned down onto Mipro. He doesn't have a blinker of full staff though on the left rack. I think he might just be dead, but mid one is trying to come in to save his teammate. The stun from Boombell. There's the damage. And mid one, even with Aegis, he's actually 1v3 here, but he one hit down the Lion. Turns back onto Mipro. The Chakram with the DPS there to Carapace. Mipro, no, he can't do this. The mana's all gone. He doesn't have a PK left either. He's going to try and get himself away. The Timber Chain will allow him to do so, but Jav's Blink strikes back onto Timber. And Abba, surge yourself back out of this one, my friend, because this mid one Juggernaut really living up to the name of the hero.
Wow. Jug is beast moding. Luckily, Timbersaw still had a magic wand to give him the mana he needed to Timber Chain away. But
the 44-minute magic wand still holding on to it.
Saving lives. Mushi just 2D. I thought he was just going to BKB TP out there, but I guess he thought he was too low in HP that he would have died to the right click if he went for the BKB TP. But he did get a tier 3 tower, and Fnatic, they kind of just seem to be the ones edging closer and closer to this victory here, but Dusa has that one last item slot, at least, well, sort of one last item. You can replace boots on this hero sometimes and do a bit more, but it's really this next damage item that has to change how the team fights go for Sig Trust, because they're not getting value out of Lakel's Dusa in these team fights.
Ever since like the 20-minute mark, experience of gold has been trending Fnatic's way pretty significantly. Just look at the 10,000 net worth lead they've had now. A good amount of time and close to 17,000 experience as well. Definitely managed to take control of this map pretty fully. As Trust hemmed back in their base. It will be in a second as Lakel's is trying to hold out on the bottom lane. 4 heroes top. This Medusa. Ohio is actually looking for this one, but he doesn't feel he's got the initiation range available to him. The rest of Trust eyeing up Mushi.
Alright, well, neither carry going to get caught out, it looks like, for now. Mushi with Boots of Travel can join his team. And Radiant, I like this kind of scam where you just see no one up there on the high ground and it's like, okay, let's force them back. Mid one's probably thinking
Mushi Blink Hex, Abba there as well. He's got BKB, does this less track, but that damage output, Trust just absolutely demolish him. And like you said, they knew there was no one high ground bottom lane. Got to expect.
Unnecessary death, yeah.
To expect that trying to go for something else on the map. Mid one will spin. Back up onto the top of the ramp. The Carapace stopped out there by the Yule Scepter. So BKB down for MyPro though. Not really a great time for Fnatic to go too full hog here. Up onto the high ground of tier 3s. Still holding on to Aegis though for mid one.
I think Fnatic just, mid one specifically, and the team as a whole just aren't comfortable sieging around the Juggernaut, which is something Jug is really good at with items. Like, yeah, this is it. You blade through, hit the tower. They've had a number of Aegises on mid one, but only now do they start doing that. And that's the thing. You've got these 4-staffs, so if they try and go in for the Blink Hex or Blink Impale around the end of your blade through, you force them to safety. Exactly what they just did, Fnatic could have been doing last Aegis. They were at the top lane, hitting the tier 3 town. They didn't make that play. So I think Fnatic only finally now kind of realizing, like, oh yeah, we can actually siege high ground. Let's maybe go for this.
MyPro, that's a Hex onto
Great
him.
smoke.
But here comes the Stone Gaze, and the Ricky's run forward onto DJ mid one. He's actually hexed up again, looking for the Omnislash back. Manda stalls himself away. No way does he escape here. The jump forward, the 4-staff back as well. He holds onto the Aegis of Fnatic. This is really prime time for them.
Well then.
That is not allowed to happen.
Stone Gaze both down, and Fnatic still have all their tools.
Trust have made the drastic error of the Omnislash back into them. It's massive amount of down to the MyPro. A couple of squads back. Mid one finishes that one up as well as jab. This Ricky dead to right, so they just clear up one after the other. Lakels has no mana remaining. The buyback from MyPro will try and bring themselves back into this fight, but the Juggernaut, he's just so bloody strong, God. He can't be stopped. He really cannot be stopped. Runs again into Lakels. Will pop the Aegis. The Crush is down onto 2 there from Ohio again, and Mushi. The damage output's looking decent. Just needs that stun. Needs to disable. They run forward. The damage output's there. There's no buyback on Lakels. There's no buyback on anyone from Trust. And GG is called. His best of one's over. It was a long and arduous road for Fnatic. A bit of a rusty one at the start of the laning stage. But they really did weather the storm and win that in a pretty easy fashion.
And they have a really good understanding of how to play the mid game. They get more farm out of the map. They weren't scared of going late game against Seducer, which I don't think you should be. And I think for Sig Trust, they perhaps are a bit too complacent because it's like, oh, we've got this Deucer Darks here, we've got our comfort picks, we've got this notoriously beastly late game carry, but when you're getting out farmed and Fnatic scaling better than you are, that's not going to happen. Jug matches up really well against the Medusa with the Manta Diffusal.
Well, Fnatic looking a little bit better now. I mean, that was solid. That was steady play. They're a little bit topsy-turvy in the first stages, but they definitely got themselves back into things. One more best of one for us tonight. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'll see you guys in a bit.